Well, hello, guys. Welcome. Stream has started. Let's give you a little bit of a taste, a little stream starting soon, just to tease you guys a little bit. But we're going to be doing basically all the best warriors that's in this tier list anyway. There's a good amount of them. There's not all the ones I would have liked, just in terms of this is mainly based off the show, of course. But yeah. Hi, Dakota. How are you? I swear to Jesus, you guys better not mess this up like you did the chapter list. I will blow a gasket. I will say, I played around with this, and I did it how I thought that I would do them. And I kind of did some adjustments. I added some different tiers, because I think it's like, the problem comes to, I think with this tier list specifically, there's so many in B that splitting it up kind of helps. So, let's go through the tiers, just so everybody understands. I know some people, maybe new viewers or whatnot don't understand this exactly, but S tier is like the top like 3 to 5 fighters, swordsmen in Westeros in this. And this is basically going to be from like Arthur Dayne to the normal story, more or less, in terms of Game of Thrones. A plus is like your next tier, like right below. They're not like the top, but they're also like still a good amount above like just your average fighter. A tier is kind of like just above an average fighter, right? So if you're looking at the average military trained man, this would be like your higher part. B is going to be kind of your average, just average in general in terms of skill. B minus is going to be kind of below average, and then C is kind of like your stinker. And I will say, right, based upon we're doing these off of the books, so some of these don't apply. Ellaria, I don't even know why she's on here to begin with. Even in the show, she wasn't a fighter, so she was down there. It is not based on the show. Hi, Haley, how are you? Hi, Jim, how are you? Hot Pie, top tier, fair enough. Arya, number 1, end of story. The problem with Arya is she's not a fighter, though. Like, the problem is, because if you have to say, like, you're going to put a 1v1. If you had a 1v1 between characters, Arya against any of these characters in a one-on-one battle, she's going to lose 99% of them. Like, that's just not how Arya is, right? Arya is someone that is like an assassin type. But when you put them in a straight fight, like say it was a trial by combat, she's going to lose. So, yeah, again, based off the books, I thought to just put her in NA. I didn't think it made sense to even put her on the list. Carl fucking Tanner also is not in the books, so he just is in NA. Podrick is a young kid in the books and isn't really fighting at this time, so it doesn't really make sense to put him on there. I mean, I guess I could, but he would just be in C. I didn't really think it made sense to. And Tyenne's the same thing as Arya in a lot of ways. She's more of an assassin type character, right? Like, she's more dangerous in terms of what she can do, in the shadows, right? Tyene and Arya are very similar. So I decided to kind of put her in NA as well, because I didn't really think she fits what we were doing here. I take back what I say. Fair enough. Well, how are you guys doing as I put the first one in here? Arthur Dayne, I think, is an easy one to start off with. Obviously, I think Arthur Dayne should be kind of in the top, right? I think, given he is the Sword of the Morning, you can argue that he's the best swordsman of all time, or at least in A Song of Ice and Fire, recent history, more or less. I would say he's easily S, but I will do it. I will do it. Also, Ashley, I have no input in these, right? Like, this is all you guys. I have no input in these. Like, I will tell you, it's in their prime. In their prime, Dakota. So, like, for when we get to Jaime Lannister, it's in his prime. Like, right before the War of the Five Kings happens, right? So, yeah. Arthur Dayne should be a pretty easy one, but I'll let him go for a little while. You better not do my man Sandor wrong. I won't. I do think, okay, I don't know what you feel about that, Ashley. Some of these I do think are a little tougher, like in terms of like A+ and all that, but I would probably put the Hound in A+. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's probably where I'd put it. Also, something really cool, I got my friend to listen to the audio book for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So I'm very excited for him to read or to listen to that, but yeah. Yeah, let me know how all of you guys are doing today. What'd you guys do? Anything interesting today? I had a pretty chill day. He's my 1B favorite character. That's fair enough. But where would you rate him in terms of, like, swordsman? Actually, like, in terms of a warrior, where would you put him? I'd be very curious to see what you put for that. I'm at work currently. Well, good luck, Dakota. Also, don't be getting no snakes. All I gotta say, don't be getting no snakes. But, you know. Also, rewatching Game of Thrones season 1, and I'm kind of rewatching it just because I'm getting very close to the end of the book, and so I want to take like a deeper, closer analysis of like how they adapted the book, because it will be something I want to talk about when I get done with my reread. I do make some content kind of about my findings of the book, kind of just my review of it, just as a total. That won't be happening for like another month or so, but I do want to like look at the two and go, why did D&D do such a great job with season 1? Because even in episode 1, when you like watch the episode, there's a lot of scenes that don't happen like in the books on the page. It's stuff that you can infer kind of happen in the background. And so D&D they do such a good job of like filling in those gaps, adding scenes that you would almost expect to happen, but just because of the way George does the books, we don't get to see those. It's just little things like that, like seeing the Stark family together kind of in the opening, right? Seeing Bran try to shoot a target and Arya showing him up, and Arya and Sansa's dynamic, and Robb and Jon's dynamic, and Catelyn, and like you don't really see that in the book in terms of them all kind of being together at the same time, and there's stuff like that which is really great. Ropes are not pets. I agree, Dakota. Ashley, I also agree with your A+. I do agree. Also, I will say, just a little announcement. I don't know if Friday I'll be doing a stream. I will try to do one, but it will depend on how I'm feeling. I'm having a procedure done for like the left side of my back, and then hopefully I'm done with that stuff. But I may not have a stream for you guys Friday. Somebody put B for Arthur Dayne. I don't know if you're trolling. You got to be trolling, right? Like there's no way you're not trolling right now. Like I don't know. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I agree, Ashley. That's a hardcore Dayne hater. I can't even go that far. I'm not even that unrealistic. But Arthur Dayne in B is kind of wild. That's very wild. Since we don't see Ned fight, where do we think he stands? So Ned's a tough one, right? I think there's a couple ones that are tough in here, Dakota. Like Stannis, Ned, a lot of the commander type characters are very difficult for me, right? Like I think a character like Tywin, where do we put Tywin? I would just probably put them around B. Like we just don't have enough to say that like they're above an average soldier, right? Ned is never really described as being that great of a fighter. He just seems like he's kind of average, very similar to like a Jon or maybe like a little above average type, but not anything crazy. And the same kind of goes for Stannis, because he's not like he is in the show, where in the show they very much have Stannis leading from the front. That's not really what Stannis does in the books. He's more of a kind of a Tywin-esque lead from, being a leadership, looking at the battle and assessing, military strategy. So that one's a tough one as well. So yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the leadership ones are pretty tough. How are you, Hatim? S for you, I agree. I don't know. I am very curious to see, reveal yourself. He did beat 3 of the best Kingsguard allegedly. Yeah, but it's tough because in terms of what was the circumstances of beating the Kingsguard, right? Like, you have to remember, the 3 Kingsguard were outnumbered, right? So it's like, was it a Lewin Martell situation where one of the Kingsguard takes an injury and then fights Ned? It's one of those things where it's like, we just don't know the full context to really give that much credence. Is this a show thing or a book thing? It is a show thing. I'm just using, it's a book thing. I'm using the show images. But yeah. But I agree. I am not having certain like fighters from the books. Like Victarion's not on here. Like if I was gonna put Victarion on this list, he'd probably be like either A or A. I think I'd go A, but I could see an argument for A+. Arthur died at the tower and failed his mission to protect Lyanna. Interesting. Well, Lulu, we don't know exactly what happened there, but I think the idea is more than likely that he was probably killed pretty dishonorably. But I don't know. One of my favorite show-only scenes was when Jaime talked smack to Ned for not competing in tourneys, and Ned says, "When I fight a man for real, I don't want him to know everything I can do." Again, and that's what I find so jarring, Ashley, is how do D&D write such good dialogue in the first season? That's not in the book, right? Like, that's, like you just talked about, that's not in the book. Where did that come from? Like, how did we go from that to season 6 or season 7, season 8, where the dialogue is just completely off, right? It's very interesting. Like, it's very interesting. And just, yeah, I don't know. And I think part of it's like, maybe they took more time in season 1, right? Like, it's something in terms of, like, I think of, you know, D&D were not very well known before Game of Thrones, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, but from what I can remember, they weren't, like, well known. And it's one of those things that when you're trying to make a name for yourself, you know, you're putting more effort into that product to then, you know, get yourself somewhere to, you know, whether that's for money, whether that's to take on other projects, like D&D eventually wanted to do a Star Wars project. So they put more time and effort into those things. And by the end of it, when they already had that reputation, all those things, I think they just stopped caring. I think one of the biggest things that Dakota points out in the chat is they actually cared in the first 4 seasons. And I think the big reason as to why D&D took Game of Thrones is the Red Wedding. If you really think about it, a lot of the things that they do point to making the Red Wedding even more heartbreaking, right? So I was thinking about doing a video about this, but in the show, Catelyn is much more likable than she is in the book. Like, for instance, they do things that are very small but have huge impacts on how we view the character of Catelyn in the show. Catelyn in the show, we don't really see her going fully into Jon as much as we do in the book, right? It's a little bit more understandable in the show, which is, you know, still not great in the show, but it's not as horrible. For instance, in the books, Catelyn is kind of pushing Ned to go south. She's pushing Jon to go to the Wall. In the show, it's not like that at all, right? Catelyn's not pushing Jon to go to the Wall. Catelyn's not pushing him to go south to King's Landing. She actually wants him to stay. So it's those little things. Even if you look at the release of Jaime Lannister and how it's handled, in the show it seems more like that Jaime is going to die in captivity, and it's very likely the Karstarks are going to kill him because Robb's off in the west. And so she releases him because she believes that it's either he's going to die or she releases him. The show, in the books, it's not like that at all. So I think that's something that's very interesting about the character of Catelyn and why they built that up, because they wanted more fans to like her a lot so that her death was even more tragic. I think that's something they did that for. Hi, Osama. How are you? Also, another great scene between Ned and Jaime when we first see the throne room. This scene wasn't. Yeah, there's a lot of great scenes. Another one that I always find fascinating is our first introduction with Jaime and Cersei looking at Jon Arryn as he's dead, and it's interesting because as a first-time viewer, you don't really understand the scene, right? Because this should be a clear indicator that Jaime and Cersei didn't kill Jon Arryn, right? It should be very clear right in that moment, right? Because you're sitting here and you're going, why are they discussing this information that he may or may not have known, and what happened to him if they're the ones that poisoned him? That's something that I feel like most first-time viewers don't get that scene. It's almost when you rewatch it, you're like, huh, it's interesting. It's very interesting that D&D chose to introduce them there instead of how it is in the books. It's a very interesting idea. But even think about it, right? After season 3, right? Season 4 more or less is all a reaction to the Red Wedding. Every event that plays after in that season, outside of Dany stuff, of course, is a reaction to the Red Wedding. And so that's why I think they really took the project because of the Red, because they realized the potential of that event. I think a lot of the best fighters are dirty fighters in the book. Most people would say the Red Viper was a good fighter, but we've seen Tyrion win more fights than him. I just think that's more because we're in proximity to Tyrion, right? We know Oberyn from his experiences has actually fought quite a lot. He's been in Essos, he's been all over these places. Richard Madden and Michelle Farley, or aka Catelyn and Robb Stark in the show, fantastic actors, and they do a fantastic job. Hi Aegor, how are you? They took more time and George was closer at hand to perhaps absorb things from. Once they got to season 4, they were out of gas for all of the wrong reasons. That's a great point, Edwin. I agree with that 100%. Hi, Blood Raven's victim. Euron, you're kind of a... Euron, I'm curious. Where would you put yourself on this list? We will be doing Euron, and I have no idea where to place him. I think he is the one that gives me the most pause in terms of, like, where would I rate the character? Because we haven't seen him really fight a lot. We just know a lot about his reputation. So I would love to see where you'd put yourself on the list. Cat was the best. I'm a mama's boy though. Fair enough, Lulu. Cat, I really like. This is the thing. I watched the early seasons of the show first, and I really like Catelyn. And then in the books, I was like, I don't really like Catelyn as much. I love like reading her chapters and all that, but I don't like her as much as a person. A wild Emily. Welcome back, Emily. How are you? How has life been treating you? Hi, Larissa. How are you? He didn't include Daemon Blackfire because he's a mid fighter. No comment. No comment, Agor. No comment. I'm no comment on that. Yeah, but I'm still struggling on who put Arthur. I know who put Lulu put Arthur in B, but Agor, I'm all right. Just, you know, getting through the week. You know, I'm excited. Well, I'm not excited because it's not a pleasant experience, but I'm just anxious to get my procedure done this Friday, so hopefully that helps. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, got a lot of work done, got one of the videos edited for tomorrow, and then I got all my stuff I need to edit for the video on Thursday. So, yeah. All right, let's move on. So Arthur, we're going to put an S tier. I don't think that's a surprise. Straight to S. All right. Hold on. Let me get this. How's this look on stream? Look better? No, because now you guys can't see the bottom. Look better? Yeah, okay. Aliser Thorne. What another one? Because Aliser Thorne's like not the best fighter in the world, but like he is, you know, the master of arms. When Jon gets there, he seems like competent. But like, this is a tough one. To me, this is a tough one because I think I could see people putting him almost all over them. But we'll see. B minus, and then yeah, let me. Why won't it type C? There we go. Okay. Very interested by where Thorne is going to. Repeat after me, everyone. Jon is not S tier. I agree. What do you think Jon Arryn was talking about when he said the speed is strong? Do you think he was talking about? No. So I think he was trying to basically send a code that, you know, Robert's kids were not his, right? They were Jaime and Cersei's. Or that, like, in terms of if you look at Robert's kids, or what kids he should have, they shouldn't be the way Joffrey, Marcel, and Tommen are. They should be more looking like Gendry or Edric, right? That's what I think he was talking about. Catelyn, the Karen in the north. All right. Oh boy, Emily's asking the tough questions with Aegor. Oh god. You're not gonna be either really lethal or just super opportunistic. Probably a mix of both. I don't see him surviving this long without some skill Ironborn cultures marshal to a fall. Yeah, I agree. That's why I kind of lean towards in this list like an A. I think A is kind of safe, right? Given that, like, I don't think you have enough to say he's an A plus or S, but I think an A is like a solid. Also, thank you, Larissa. Thank you, Lulu. Appreciate it. Emily, prayers for your little brother. Emily, don't blame you. But what are you drinking? I'm curious. Did he fight in the books? Who are we talking about, Osama? Are we talking about the character we're doing right now in Thorne, or who are we talking about? Is Syrio Farrell on this list? He is not, unfortunately. Don't think, Ashley. Daisy Mormont, A tier for sure. Yeah, I like that. I like that pick. I like that pick, Dakota. Miller Lite, like I always am. You know how I roll. That's fair, Emily. That's fair. I respect it. Not my cup of tea. Yoren. I would put Yoren. He does fight. I would put him though probably like a B minus. Are you doing House of the Dragon characters? I am not on this stream. We definitely could do one for House of the Dragon. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Maybe when House of the Dragon gets closer, we do a House of the Dragon one. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, Ashley, I'm just doing what was on the tier list, okay? That's all I'll say. Also, prayers for your dad, Aegor, as well. Thorne strikes me as a better soldier than an individual fighter. Like, he's serviceable and experienced, but nothing special. I agree, Edwin. Like, this is what I find is going to be interesting. When we get to Grey Worm, how do we grade Grey Worm? Because Grey Worm, in a lot of ways, is way better with his army, right? They're a unit, right? And so I almost would say that Grey Worm is not even that great of a fighter. I just think the Unsullied together are like a fantastic unit, right? Is Cersei on the list fighting with her with the kitty? I wish. He is only 21. His testicular cancer, he had one removed and they got all of it, but his markers are increasing, so they are doing 3 rounds of chemo. He would probably be fine, but it's still terrifying. I 100% get that, Emily. I would definitely be stressed in your position. Again, sending all prayers. I hope everything goes well for him. Nobody should have to go through it. Cancer is just not great, but also, stream is not sponsored by Aquafina, but it should be because it's the best water out there. All those that deny that are my foes. And Stannis would agree with that. And if you're ever thirsty, you get yourself a nice Aquafina water. That's all I can say. All right, B- for Thorne. I like it. I think that's a good rating. That's probably where I was. I think I was at a B for Thorne. I think I gave Thorne a little bit more credit, but I don't hate that. All right, let's move on to Hoda. Everybody knows that Hoda is my favorite POV. You know, he's just such a interesting guy. He's got so much going on. You know, he's just that guy. You know? And so he should definitely be in A tier. No, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say it like as he should just be in a tier because he's just so like forgettable. But like, it came out as me saying A tier, which is kind of where he should be. A tier, A plus tier. I don't, somewhere around there. No, but you are good, Emily. You're good. I mean, I just did Daenerys's. I edited Daenerys's chapter where Drogo dies. Daenerys 8, or he doesn't die, but he's in the process of dying. It's a very downer chapter. Exactly. You don't need to apologize. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Thorne has that face that haunts me. Arya, he does have a face that's just like he's not happy with his life. That's the vibe Thorne gives me. Like he's just one of those like teachers that you had in school that you could tell were just miserable in their occupation. That's the vibe Thorne gives me. But yeah. Hold on. I want to use an emote because I almost never use these emotes in chat because I always forget them. But there you go. Look at that little goblin-y guy. Look at him, dude. Also, for the members in chat, I know 2 of you are in chat. You do have access to the little emotes that I have. So, you know, if you ever want to use those, they are there. How do I get out of this now? I don't know how to get out. All right, there we go. Who's the worst teacher? Thorne or Mordain? Easy. Arya, easy. Your Arya is in the title of your name. You know which one's worse. Mordain is the worst teacher I've ever seen. She actually bullies children. Right? I know Thorne kind of does that too. But Mordain does it in such a more like damaging way psychologically. Where it's like Thorne, it's like he's at least trying to prepare you to be a sword fighter and all these things. He's not great at it, but like you can understand the rationale, I guess. Whereas Mordain is just an awful human being. Like, I am glad she dies. But yeah. Who do you think is a better fighter, Hoda or Victarion? Ooh, that's a tough one. Okay. I'd like to lean towards Victarion because I like Victarion more than Hoda, but I'm not sure, honestly. That's right, the Goblin Gang. It's always here for that emotional support. Also, I think it's so funny is like whenever I do streams with the Voice of Old Town, we have the most deep conversations right before going on a live stream. Like we could be having like a conversation about our deepest insecurities, and then like 10 minutes later we're on stream having a great time. It's a wild time. I swear, it's a wild time. That is true, Edwin. That's a great point. Is it bad I wanted Ned to yell at Mordane? He should have. The way Mordane treats Arya is just foul. That's all I'm going to say. Arya, that's my question. Like, in my reread, that's something that I posed the question of in multiple chapters, because it doesn't seem like Ned realizes what Mordane does to Arya. Like, Arya gets publicly shamed by Mordane in front of the royal family. Like, in front of Myrcella. Like, do you know how damaging that would be to a young girl? Like, I don't know. Is this a men-only list? There are some sand snakes on here. Brienne is on here. But for the most part, there are not a lot of women on here. Brienne, I do think should be at least A+. I'd probably put Brienne A+. I don't think she's that top echelon of like the Jaimies, Arthurs, and Barristans, but like I think she's like right underneath there. So I like that. Yeah, I think some teachers are just the worst. It's so weird though, because there's so many like people that I know that were in my grade or below me or maybe 1 year above me that I'm just like sitting here and I'm like, you are becoming a teacher. It is a wild thing to think about. Like some of the most like immature people that are dumb as rocks, and I see them become teachers, and I'm just like, it gives me pause as to like, what? Like, it just makes me think about things. I don't know. But yeah. All right. So where we got here? We got, looks like Hoda is an A. Personally, I think I would have put him in A+. But I do respect it. So far, you guys haven't like hit any stinkers yet. Like, I don't know. We're getting Barry done. Let's just call him Barry. We're getting Barry the Bold. He's going in S. Okay, if you don't put Barry in an S, I don't know what's going on. I'll give you guys two options. I'm gonna give you guys two options, and that is it. Okay, I guess I'll give you three. I'll give you three options, but like, there is one option here. There is one. I agree, Ari, on that. Give it time. Stinkers will come. Oh, God. Oda as A, y'all are tripping. Aerys set himself up to die. It is true. Yeah, I agree, Edwin, and that's why I didn't put her on the list. Like, I put her in NA because she's not a fighter, right? Like, if there was ever a 1v1 between Arya and, like, Thorne, I still think Thorne would kill her. So it's like, there's no point of having Arya on the list because she's not, like, that kind of a fighter. She's too small. She's a great assassin, right? She fits all the basic characteristics of an assassin. She does not fit like a warrior. Oda is barely developed in the book Arya. So, hi Zeno, how are you? Barristan has to be S. George himself said, without Dawn, it's a toss-up between Arthur and Barristan, so it has to be. I agree. I think there's three characters that are S in this listing that we have, and I think after that, it's kind of like, eh. Arya in the show was cringe. Her beating Brienne is one of the worst scenes in the entire show. It's not talked about enough for how shit it is. I agree. I always thought that scene was terrible. Like, what are we talking about? If Brienne had plate armor on, like, let's just, like, reenact this fight. Let's say it was an actual fight between Brienne and Arya. If Brienne has plate on and her normal, like, chainmail on, she is going straight through Arya, and her power is just, like, it takes one good swing and she's dead. Like, it's not even a thing. Prime Jaime over Prime Barristan. Ooh, that's an interesting one, Euron. That's an interesting one. I will say, like, I think the top three, it's kind of a toss-up, right? I think it's like, I personally prefer Barristan, but I have no problems with anyone that prefers Arthur or Jaime. I think all three of those, if you don't think the top fighters between those three, that's when I'm like, I just don't agree with you. But, like, though any of those three, I think it's fine. You are good, Zeno. You are good. I have noticed, though, something I've really noticed that bothers me is when I put streams and I set them at advance, right? When I have like all the streams set up for a week, right? So like last week, I had streams set up for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have noticed that YouTube does not send out my notifications because I have it tested, right? For when my streams go live. And I've noticed it doesn't send out my notifications when I have them like preset in advance. But when I do it the day of, like when I like, you know, put the stream up and all that stuff, it does it. It usually does it. So I don't get it. YouTube is just a weird place to me. I don't know. YouTube is not like the best place for streaming. Twitch is the best place for streaming, but I feel like with my content, it doesn't make any sense to stream on Twitch. It's not that kind of a platform. I agree, by the way, on the simping of Arya. Watch your mouth. We don't say that word here. Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Barristan is a living legend. Saving Eris is one thing and incredible alone. Factor in to get to Melees, he probably had to go through some of his best. I agree. Barristan is a badass. I agree, Zeno. I don't know. I think live streams just notifications are just not very good. I don't know. I wonder who would win if Jaime fought Brienne. I think Jaime in his prime would clap Brienne. I don't think it would be that close. It kind of sounded sus in the terms of wording I used. I didn't mean that kind of clapping, but you know, I was like, there's nothing worse than season 7, season 8. Hold my tea, yeah. Or if we want to go that route, my coffee cup. Dakota D. Okay. Okay. Ashley, we had our little scuffle about Darkstar already. Just drop it. Drop it. Darkstar's not on this list either, so there's no reason to talk about him, okay? Osha can get it. Oh god, Zeno. I think Jaime would cheat, kind of how he did in the show when he stabbed Jory. See? Exactly, Dakota. Exactly. Ashley, stop your gasping. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You're being dramatic right now. Very dramatic. All right, A+. Wait, what? A+. Are we on drugs? Chat. Chat. Are we on drugs right now? What the hell? What? A+? Who the hell? A brothers. Why is this even close? Why does anyone vote for Barristan in A? Or are you okay? Why do you guys always do this? Every stream. Every stream. Every stream, we're having a great time. You guys are doing good. You know, you have some good takes, and then all of a sudden, here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here we go. What's going on, dude? What the fuck's going on? What is going on right now? Right now, he's an A+. I'm not stopping this vote until he's an S. You guys can call me Magor, the Cruel, whatever you want to do, but, like, there ain't no way right now. There is no way Barristan is an A+ right now. Some of y'all gotta slow down on the alcohol. I'm looking at you, Emily. Some of y'all need to slow down on the smoking. And we gotta lock in, guys. lock in. Okay. I'm gonna turn it back to the other page. I want you guys to rethink your lives like you're Ned after you got, captured. Because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't even. What are we doing? Let me look at it. It's S. Okay, I'm ending it right now. I won't bring that up if you guys don't. I won't bring it up that you guys were struggling there. But okay. On to the next. Benjen. Interesting one here as well. Because, like, how good of a fighter was Benjen? We just don't really know. Like, we never see him in combat. He has a good reputation. We know that. But, like, how good? Like, and you gotta think, okay, you can't become First Ranger if you're just some bum. So, like, it's a tough one. Tough one. It's a tough one. All right, let's look at chat again. I didn't want to look at chat. It wasn't me this time. Lulu, I believe you this time. This time, I believe. I drank too much milk of the poppy. Arya, that's no good. That's no good. It clouds your mind. You'll start getting an infection like Drogo. A+ deserved. He is overrated. Euron. Someone is just struggling. Someone's bread ain't bacon. Oh boy. People test your blood pressure. They try. Grease the Cruel? Yes. I feel like Barristan after he got dismissed? Yes. Oh, by the way, I want you guys to know. I made my bed for you guys today. I've been trying to do it for you guys on stream because you guys are very big sticklers, and I don't. Personally, I don't get it, right? Because here's my problem is I will make my bed, and then I'll go back into my bed to, like, watch something if I'm in between a break between, like, internship work or, like, YouTube stuff. And I'll just lay in bed for my back, and I'll just, like, maybe I'll watch, like, something for a little while. And then the bed gets all messed up again. So I made sure to make it for you guys. You're welcome. All I need for you guys to do is just to not troll no more. Okay? No more trolling. No more trolling. If we keep pushing, maybe okay. I will go mad at some point, right? If we do like a House of the Dragon character tier list, I could go mad. I will say, because I have some divisive takes, I feel like. But and that's not saying Rhaenyra is an S tier, because I personally agree Rhaenyra is not an S tier character. She's like an A. She's a good character, but like in the show, she's just not developed enough yet to where like I'm like, yeah, S tier character. Meh, he's probably better than Ned. I definitely could see that. He became First Ranger because his last name was Stark. That's true. We do see the politics of the Wall, right? I mean, Waymar Roy shows up and instantly, like, he's in charge, so... Oh. Blame his death in Season 5? Fair enough. I just got to Maegor the Cruel in the Fire and Blood book. Enjoy it. Maegor is overhated. He's one of my favorite... He's become one of my favorite characters. I'm thinking about making a YouTube short where I go like everybody else's normal favorite Song of Ice and Fire characters show Daenerys, Jon, Tyrion. Meanwhile, me, Stannis, Maegor, Rhaenyra. Like, oh, dude. It's the little things in life. That's all I gotta say. Benjen equals Hooded Man? Possibly. Maybe. 41 days until House of the Dragon. I am super excited. I will say, I will not be doing a review for episode 3 when it comes out, but I will be doing it the day after. Stark Brothers. Brandon A, Ned C, and Benjen C-. I don't know about that one. Darcy can get it, though. Fair enough. Is book rating... I gotta go to full screen again. I gotta go... That's because that's a serious topic. Rhaenyra in the books is S tier. I don't care what no one says. I don't care if Preston Jacobs says Fire and Blood is mid-tier writing. Don't care. Rhaenyra is the one true queen. She will always be S tier. And all those that deny that are green supporters and should be executed. Thank you. That's all for now. Back to our regular scheduled TV. All right. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Rhaenyra is the type to have an OnlyFans. You take that slander right out of there, Zeno. You take that right out of there. Okay? I would say Alicent would be the one having an OnlyFans, seeing as that she's okay with selling her feet pics. As Edwin says, because he's a true loyal supporter. I'm just saying, Alicent was trying to sleep with a dude because he was the king. Did I say that? Saying Aegon's kind of hoeing around. Wasn't me. I didn't say nothing. Make more videos about Maegor? Oh, I will, Zeno. Don't you worry, I will. Oh, that'd be a good one. Maybe I'll do a video about Maegor and his fight, the Trial of Seven. That'd be a good one. Aegor, you missed that Barristan nearly got put in A+. And, Zeno? I agree with you 100%. But you already knew that. Team Black all the way? 100%. Ashley. Just because some things happen, it wasn't Rhaenyra's fault. All I gotta say. The only female who is S is Book Cersei. Well, you're on. We know where you're going with it. You're I'm gonna say. Who is your favorite style of fighting? Because that also matters. I think my favorite style of fighting is probably Oberyn. I like how the way, like, he's very smart about the way he fights. And he, like, yeah, the poison's not great, but, you know, both sides kind of suck. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, unfortunately, Millie Alcock has gone to DC, and DC is where things go to die. I am an Alicent stan till I die. Book and show. No one will ever change my mind. Well, Emily, Alicent's a hoe. That's all I gotta say. She usurped the rightful queen. That's all I gotta say. The Freys are pretty based. Are we doing fighters from the 80s? No, we're doing just mainly the, like, A Song of Ice and Fire time period. That'd be really cool, Edwin. I agree. I mean, if we're talking show, Lena Headey is a very attractive lady. And in the book, she is described as being pretty beautiful. So, like, I don't know, man. Is Renly on this list? I don't know. I know one of the other two I was looking at doing had him on here, but I don't think this one does. No, this one does not, which I'm kind of glad. He doesn't really do any fighting, to be honest. So, I don't know. I don't even know where you'd rank Renly. Rob shot first. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think the phrase may have taken it a little too far. But you're not wrong. All right, B tier for Benjen. You know, B for Benjen. I can't hate on that. I think that's a good. I like that pick. We do have Vlad Beric Dondarrion. Beric is another tough one because, yes, he is a good fighter. He seems to get clapped quite a lot. So, like, kind of a tough one, honestly. Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea where I'd rank this one. Like, I have no idea where I'd rank this one. This is a tough. This one's all over. I'm gonna see where you guys go with this one. I don't know about Beric. I would put Garland an A+ Euron. I don't think he's S tier. Lynn Corbray, I would be in between like A+ and A for Lynn Corbray, I think. Delroy. I like that name, Delroy. Delroy's a good name. I mean, yeah, Cersei's personality is dog shit, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about, is she hot? Hot and personality are two different things. Edwin, that's a great point. Daemon shot first with Alice. Hey, we don't know what happened between those two. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's why Otto Hightower doesn't like Daemon that much. I could see it. That'd be wild, though. Alicent sleeps with both the brothers, Viserys and Daemon. That's kind of wild. You are right, Emily. Sam the Slayer better be on your list. He has the best skills. He is on the list. I know he's on the list, but like, come on, guys. Come on. He's bottom tier. He does have those powers of quick save. Nah, Dakota. Nah, dudes. No. Snakes is just... The only good snake is a dead snake, as one of my friends used to say. Are you busy next month between House of the Dragon Season 2 and The Boys? I've never watched The Boys, but it does seem good. But I will say, man, I'm excited for House of the Dragon. Alicent gets around a lot. You were right. You have Tyrion on this list. I think his kill count might be higher than Jaime. I would disagree, given the fact that Jaime was in a number of battles early in the War of the Five Kings. But it depends. Like, do you consider, you know, anything in terms of, like, the wildfire stuff a Tyrion personal kill? Oh. But he isn't on here, Zach, I will say. All right, B tier so far for Beric. I like that. It is a tough race, though. It's tied for C. We're all over the place on Beric. I do not think he should be in C, personally. Think about who's going to be in C more than likely. Like, you guys got to remember, we haven't even done Gendry yet. Like, Gendry barely fights. We haven't done Hodor yet. You know, we haven't done, like, Obara and Nymeria. Like, you know, we haven't done a lot of people. Ygritte. Like, there's a lot of ones on here that's like, I don't know. They're not so good. Tyrion has a small hitbox. You know what? Bronn does say that. He'd be horrible for archers. God. The green... Hey, Alicent's dress is fantastic. I agree 100%. The green dress scene in House of the Dragon is, for me, a top 3 scene in season 1. Okay? But he does get around. Like, I'm just saying, you know, if the theory is correct, you know, about Daemon and Alicent having a thing, he gets around both brothers. Kind of wild. Tyrion could only hope. That's all I'm saying. God, that's so messed up. Rickon has a small hitbox. Look how he turned out. Hey, he didn't swerve. He didn't swerve. The green dress scene, as a person who read Fire and Blood beforehand, I scared my cat with my actual scream. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, guys, just on like a quick recollection of Fire and Blood, give me your top 5 scenes, or give me some of the best scenes you can remember from House of the Dragon Season 1. Ones that instantly come to my mind. Alicent, the green dress scene. Viserys' scene in episode 8 where, you know, he's helped by Daemon and he goes to the throne, he protects Rhaenyra. That's a fantastic scene. I'm kind of a big sucker for early in the episode, I think it's episode 2, where Rhaenyra rolls up the Dragonstone and kind of like talks down Daemon about the egg. Big fan of that scene. What are some other ones I really like? I'm trying to think of some good ones. I gotta think of my favorites. Rhaenyra dress she wore in the first episode at the jousting tournament hits different. They do have some pretty cool dresses, I won't lie. He should have zigzagged. Don't know what he was doing. Yes, apparently. Apparently Arya can beat up Brienne. Makes no sense, though. Emily, that's what they say, but it's all about the psychology. Okay? It's all about the psychology. If you're zigzagging, you're going to have more confidence. Yeah, that's definitely one of the best scenes. Emma's C-section, yeah, but that's a tough scene to watch. Like, that whole scene is very tough to watch. I get it. Like, and I think the symbolism going in between, like, you know, the men bleeding with Daemon and Kristen Cole fighting and Emma struggling with birth. I mean, that is a good one. That's a hauntingly good scene. It's just hard to watch. Oh, I do like the gold cloak scene where like Daemon's like going around chopping hands off and stuff. I do like that. Aemond claiming the dragon. That's a good one. That's another good one. Oh, that's another good one. Rhaenyra's coronation is another good one. I forgot about that one, but that's a really good one. I do like another scene I really like because it paints kind of the story really well. Is Rhaenyra and Rhaenys when they're talking about a woman ascending the throne. I like that scene. It really sets up kind of that dynamic between the two characters, but also kind of the main theme of the story in terms of kind of the fighting over the throne and all these things. Well, right now we're talking about best House of the Dragon scenes, but overall we're doing a best warriors, and right now we're on who are we even on right now? Beric. Okay, let's put Beric and B. We got to get going here. We're kind of struggling. We've been doing this stream for a while, and we feel like we've not accomplished much, but it's okay. That's the way these streams always go. So B for Beric. I like that. Ooh, we've got Brienne up next. This will be an interesting one. This will be a very interesting one. You definitely should be on like the top side of this, but we'll see. For me personally, I would say a solid A+. I don't think she's at the very top, but I don't think she's like, you know, at the bottom or mid or anything. She's definitely better than a lot of the other people. We should do dress ratings next live stream. Allison's green dress reveal, S tier. Rhaenyra's coronation dress in episode 1 and episode 10, S tier. I'm not qualified enough to give my opinions on good dresses. That's all I'm going to say. Your weak Viserys scene was one of my favorites. That's a good one, Delroy. Vhagar eating Luke. That's kind of fucked up, but yeah, okay. Why does George R. R. Martin like adding Y's and A's to every name? It definitely makes things feel archaic, but it's everywhere. So I think the reason he does that, why so many names sound kind of similar, is that's just the way in history a lot of times you saw that. A lot of names are kind of derived off of names beforehand. That's why, again, there's so many Aegons, because he took that from basically English history. There's so many different, you know, Edwards or Henrys and stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense that you would name your kid after like Aegon, for instance, or like Visenya, and that gets turned in like to Viserys or Visera or whatever. Or Rhaenys, you have Rhaeny, get it? Like Rhaenyra. They take different variations of those names because it's just very common. That's what would have happened a lot. I liked Vizzy T dinner speech. Fair enough. No, like Zeno. I'm just saying in terms of like one of the best scenes. It's just a really, it's a funny one that you're just like, yeah, I like when Luke got eaten. Like, I definitely think it was shot pretty well and stuff. And I'm not a big fan of like, I gotta see where it goes. But I personally would have just rather had Aemond actually intending to kill Luke instead of it being kind of the way it was. I mean, I agree, Larissa. The thing that's missing, you want to talk about what was missing in the first season compared to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, every scene felt like it was needed. Every scene felt like it was part of this overarching story that we're building to. There was never a moment in the first season of Game of Thrones, or even, you know, going forward, where you felt like, huh, that was an interesting choice. Like, that just, it makes you question it and takes you out of the show for a second, right? Like, Kristen Cole beating up Joffrey. Daemon having the white flag out and then rushing this entire cave of men with all these archers and stuff. Or the Green Council, how that was handled, and the little politics going in with between the Greens. All that stuff was never there in season 1 of Game of Thrones. Season 1 of Game of Thrones flows perfectly. Everything builds, and you have natural plot twists. Whereas it felt like in House of the Dragon, there was forced plot twists ending on these notes in the show that weren't needed. It took away from the drama, what we were building toward. Until you have that kind of explosion, right? When you get to like episode 7, episode 8 of the first season of Game of Thrones, everything just explodes. Everything starts branching out. And that's what was happening in House of the Dragon. It just didn't feel as naturally earned as I think a Game of Thrones did. Also, Emily, we are a little distracted. Sir Kristen, where does he go? If we were talking about on this tier list, I'd probably put Kristen Cole in like a solid A. Maybe A+. You could convince me A+. I would say in that range. He's definitely like an above average warrior. He's a pretty good warrior, right? He was able to best Daemon in a, one-on-one combat, but I don't know if I'd put him like way higher. Are you in support of Henry Cavill for Aegon the Conqueror? I think he would do good in the role, but I do think like I think Henry Cavill strikes me more as being a larger Targaryen. More like, I think he would play better like Maegor or a Maekar Targaryen. Someone that's like just described as being more of an overpowering Targaryen. Because a lot of the Targaryens don't strike me as being those overbearing type of guys that are just really jacked and stuff. Like, I think that Henry Cavill would be a much better Baratheon, like an Oris Baratheon. I think that's who I would cast for Henry Cavill. I know people love to put him in every role in A Song of Ice and Fire, but I think he fits way more naturally as a Baratheon. Daenerys had the best dresses, hands down. I agree. Like, they gave her some of the best outfits in the show, 100%. Still, a great moment for Brienne. Like, Brienne in Feast for Crows, when she gets going, she really gets going. I am qualified because I am a woman who loves dresses. Fair enough. I am not. Well, I mean, I like dresses. Like, I think dresses look great, but like, I could like say a dress thing I think is really looks good, and then women out there would just be like, no, that dress is terrible. So that's why I'm not qualified. Emily, like, see, my thing with Brienne is she's very polarizing because her chapters are just very polarizing, right? Like, her early chapters are very slow. They're very methodical. They take investment from the reader's part to get into the character. But once you do, like, if you do and buy in, when you get to, her 5th chapter, her 6th chapter, 7th, 8th, and Feast for Crows specifically, she's fantastic, right? She's one of the best written characters of the book. So it's that polarization of, do you, spend the time of getting into this character and really exploring that psychology of that character. I saw that somewhere that there was a 7 show in Velma which was described as a superhero show set in Westeros. How interesting. I've not heard that. I still can't believe Hoda made A tier. I don't know. I think you should be a little higher, to be honest. Targaryens are confusing. They need more nicknames. I agree, right? I think that would help distinguish them. I will say, though, the Blackfires are way harder. There's too many Daemons. Marjorie, honestly, Marjorie might have had the best wardrobe. She had some very like interesting, not even interesting, good like looking dresses and stuff. It also helps that Natalie Dormer is very beautiful. That's all I'll say. Who is the best Targaryen fighter? You could say the Dragon Knight. You could say Daemon. You could say maybe Aegon or Visenya. You could say Maegor. Maegor was described as being a really great fighter. You could say Maekar. I think those are the main ones that come to mind towards the sword fighters that like stick out to me. So I'll just say that for now. Xeno, yes, but I always pictured Maegor as being bigger than Aegon, because Aegon, he's never described as being this very overpowering man, whereas that's a key factor in how people describe Maegor, right? So like it could be something as similar as like, oh, well, Aegon wasn't that, but maybe his grandfather was, or something like that. Like think about Aenys. Aenys is not described as that. Aenys is described as kind of being very slender, kind of reminds me of Viserys from a Game of Thrones. Very slender and more of like an athletic build, but not overpowering, right? So that's kind of more how I view Aegon, as being kind of hybrid in between that, where he's not like Aenys, but he's also not Maegor. He's just kind of a bit in between that. I have Cole around the level of Brienne you're on. Dany's dresses were mid. I don't know, maybe the later seasons, but I would say like her early seasons, she was pretty good. Yeah, Lee Pace would be really good as a Blood Raven or a Targaryen. I agree. Like I don't think Henry Cavill needs to be in A Song of Ice and Fire, but I think he's a great actor, and I think, for me personally, I still think he'd be a great Baratheon. Like he would be the perfect, if there was ever a perfect role, he would be a perfect Robert Baratheon in Robert's Rebellion. I think that comparison is great. I agree, Dakota, on the best beard. I think Renly had a very good one. There is not enough Daemon's Aegor, maybe. Um, Jaehaerys the First, that's true. Yeah, the thing with Jaehaerys the First, though, is he was never described as being like a great swordsman. He was definitely described as being like competent, and he was definitely a skilled warrior. Like he was being able to beat like some of his Kingsguard and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd put him above some of the other ones. He's definitely in the conversation, though, Zach. I do agree with that. I have no idea who Anthony Starr is, so I cannot. I just realized your most popular videos. See, that doesn't surprise me, Zeno. The issue I have with my channel is the videos that always do the best are anything in terms of George R. R. Martin and Winds of Winter. I hate it. I hate it so much. I like, because those videos take very low effort. It's either me venting or just like going over some like news we get. That's just it's almost the same thing over and over again. And so that video was a video I did because of Patreon, or I don't know if it was, yeah, it was either, I think it was a Patreon wanted that video. And so I made that video, and me knowing I knew that video was going to do well because it just, that topic always does well. It's like, I really wish stuff like my character analysis or stuff that I put a lot more effort into would do better. And it's like, it is what it is. But yeah, it bothers me that that's my most popular video. Like my top, out of my top 10 videos, I'd probably say like 6 or 7 are just Winds of Winter in terms of will we get them or something. I am not sure on that Delroy. I think it's definitely close. That's true, Euron, on him being too old to play young Robert. When he was maybe younger, it would have been a better one. Didn't Jaehaerys the First champion himself in a trial by combat? So he fought in a basically a trial when one of the, I don't remember the guy that slept with one of his daughters, but he ends up like basically fighting instead of naming some. Oh, Homelander. Okay, I know who Homelander is. I don't know. He doesn't really strike me as Maegor. I don't know why. He just doesn't really strike me. Maegor, because the Homelander character, maybe it's because the Homelander character has a lot of charisma and stuff like that. That's not the way Maegor, I envision the character of Maegor. Maegor is more almost like Stannis in a way, like in terms of demeanor. And so I think it'd be kind of weird to see that actor portraying Maegor. I agree, Zeno. I mean, my thing is, I really like making, like, for instance, some of my favorite videos are a character analysis of like Maekar Targaryen or Maegor or Visenya, or my Robert's Rebellion series or Maester conspiracy stuff. But you know, it is what it is. What about Syrio Farrell? Do we like him? I like him, Marcus. I mean, I'd put him, or Maris. That kind of threw me off. But I'd probably put Syrio. The problem is we don't know enough about Syrio, but I'd at least give him probably A. Maegor is always so serious. Agreed. I have not, Dakota. What if Maegor was secretly hilarious, just like Stan? It's possible. Definitely possible. Oh, okay. I got to give you guys a rant. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a rant. I know we're getting off topic from, the tier list, but like, the Fortnite, okay? I play Fortnite once a year. Just for the Star Wars event. The last one was like a prequel thing. It was great. We had Darth Maul and Anakin and all these things. And then this year, all they did was they put like Chewbacca in the game. And I'm just like, dude, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? It's a little rant. Okay, little rant. I just like, what are we doing? And I don't know. All right, Bronn. Ooh, Bronn is a good one. Bronn is a very good one. Because he's definitely not like the best fighter in the world, but he's definitely a good one. I don't know. I'd probably put Bronn in an... Ooh, I think I'd put him in A tier, but we'll see what you guys think on this one. Also, if any of you guys in chat went to see Phantom Menace in theaters for May the 4th, let me know. For the Instagram folk that follow the channel, they saw me in my Darth Maul getup, so shout out to you guys. But that was so... Dude, you guys don't even know, okay? I watched Phantom Menace in theaters yesterday. It was so good. Such a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. A good movie. Maybe biased about Homelander's Maegor because I like him as an actor, and maybe not for Maegor. Yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, who he would, like, what vibe he would give me as a character for, like, a Targaryen or something like that. I'm trying to think of a good one. I don't know. Syrio is S tier. Stop playing. Fair enough. Bronn the type of guy to win via pocket sand. Agreed. A+, but like bottom of A+? Okay, interesting. I celebrated Star Wars Day this past weekend with the Tales of the Empire cartoon on Disney+. Love to see that, Arya. I haven't really watched anything from Disney about Star Wars, so I can't really comment on that and any of the new shows that have come out, but that's cool. Love to see it. I like that Bronn's an A. I think we're doing good. I like that. Okay, Dakota. Okay. Ooh, Hatim. That's a good one. I think he would be... Homelander would be a good Rhaegar. I like that. I think that'd be a good one. The problem would be Rhaegar is a lot younger than the Homelander actor, so that would be kind of a tough one. Same problem you run into with Henry Cavill and Robert. He does kind of make that comparison, Edwin. Like, even Catelyn, like, really tells us that Bronn's a good fighter. Like, he moves like a panther, but he's also very strong, and the sword's part of his arm. Like, he just definitely describes being a fairly good sword fighter. I try not to rant, but there's too many streaming services. Yeah, I agree, Arya. Like, it's not a major thing for me because I don't watch TV much, right? I am a heavy YouTube watcher, right? So I don't pay for TV or services unless I want them. Like, unless, for instance, like House of the Dragon comes out, I'll get HBO for like, however long the show's out, cancel it. Or if, Disney Plus has some sort of show that I want to watch, maybe, right? Like I'll purchase it for like a month, be done with it. But for the most part, I do agree. I think it's outrageous how everything is kind of everywhere. Where it started off as like streaming services was great. It saved you from having to buy cable. And now it's almost kind of reverted almost, where it's like, I still don't think cable is worth it as a product. I don't think cable makes sense anymore. But it's like, it is kind of almost equaling out a little bit, but I will look into that. You think Rhaegar would be a good king? That's a tough question. Because Rhaegar shows a lot of characteristics in terms of he doesn't really think about other people. He doesn't think about how his actions affect people in general. And whereas I think he would be a king that would be loved by the public, I don't think he would be the best king. In terms of, I think he's too selfish. I think he has kind of a god complex to a degree. I don't think he would be that great. Could Bronn beat Beric or Brienne? I don't think Bronn could beat Brienne. But I do think he would beat Beric, yes. Yeah, I agree. Like, Arya, for example, I got Netflix for a little while to review the Avatar show, and then I also watched the original, a bit of it. I only got through the first season. I want to get more of into it, but yeah, I mean, personally, I am right there with you, right? I'm not one of those person or people that are gonna have all of the services at the same time. It just doesn't make sense for me. But yeah. Hoda slams Brienne. I could see it. I don't know. Hoda has more experience on her, so you're on. I could definitely see that. When you put Marin, Trant, and S, yeah, of course. He's the GOAT. I'm just saying, Grease, someone with a god complex wouldn't play his music for the citizens and donate the money to the most needy. Yeah, but he's also somebody that is willing to, like, go above kind of the laws of men, almost. Like, he is someone that straight up just goes, yeah, Elia, screw you. I'm going to take another wife, and I'm going to have a child with her because you can't give me enough children. Like, that's not a good look. I'm just saying, that's not a good look. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Rhaegar would be miles better than the Mad King. But I still don't think Rhaegar would have been that great of a king. Well, I appreciate that, Arya, and I do enjoy, streaming with you guys. As always, it's a really weird feeling because I used to only stream once a week, and so it was much easier to like just generally talk with you guys because it's like it's once a week. A lot happens in a week. It is kind of weird, right, to be back onto a streaming schedule where it's like 3 days a week now. Kind of how it was like before this channel was like on my another channel. I streamed much more. And so it is like, it's always great when you guys are, and you guys have stuff to talk about because it makes it easier for me. I don't have to think about stuff that I want to talk about during a stream or, make up just topics, right? The Blackfires are better. I do like the Blackfires. Unfortunately, the Blackfires not only are they blocked my TV screen, but I also have the Witch King helmet kind of in front of them now, so I don't know. Thank you, Zeno. Appreciate that. And Larissa as well. Is this year going by fast for you? Or for me, it is. It is not going by fast for me, but maybe that's because I've been having I'm still dealing with back issues. I'm kind of trying to get that resolved, so I don't know. I don't know. It hasn't really moved by that quickly. I think the Lyanna situation is severely misunderstood. Maybe. I'm sorry, Aegor. I'm sorry. You know what I've thought about doing though, Aegor? I've thought about moving how I have my stream set up. If our basement was more finished, I would actually move my stuff down there because I could have a more cleaner setup where you don't have my bed in the background and stuff like that. And I was thinking about ordering another Targaryen banner and then just trying to paint it. Trying to make it the Blackfire sigil so I could have the Blackfire and then the Targaryen right next to each other. That'd be cool. Ace Tyrell S+, I agree. Ashley, give me your reasoning. Also, Ashley, by the way, just so you know, I did shout you out in tomorrow's video. Because I was talking about a certain theory that you introduced me into, so you get to be in a video. So. Thank you, Ari. Appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll feel a good amount better after Friday. I'm still not gonna be 100% because the stuff in my right side, it did make it much more bearable, but it's still not, Wait. What do you think the odds are that young Griff is really Aegon? I hope he is. It would be. I think Lulu, it's like 55-45. I don't know. I've gotten a little bit closer to being like equal in terms of it could be Aegon, it could not be. It's just for me, it's hard to recognize my bias because I want young Griff to be a Blackfire. I personally think the story is so much more interesting if he's a Blackfire. And I think it makes sense given what George has built up. But I also could see him being Aegon. I don't know. For me, it's like 60-40, 55-45 that he's a Blackfire type thing. I'm having allergies to the changing weather because of my asthma. Well, Arya, I hope all that works out. I hope the weather starts becoming more consistent. I actually haven't been having this lately, but I think it's because when I was at work, I used to wear an AirPod a lot. And I think because I would, listen to music and have an AirPod in for so long, I think it would give me ear infections more frequently or sinus issues. But I haven't noticed that now. But yeah, when the weather would change like that, I would really have those problems more. Room is a nice background. The blue is nice. Fun fact, I picked this color out when I was in like 6th grade. So I picked this color. But yeah, I do like the color. I think the one thing that makes my room look way better now than it used to be is just the lighting. Right? Because I have my lights going all across the top of the ceiling, and you guys don't really see it, but I have like a small ring light like right here, and then I have like a big one. I have a big like standing up one you would see for like plays and stuff like over here, like that way. But it just helps. It helps like make not look as dark and stuff. But 6th Blackfire Rebellion, yes. I got some Game of Thrones themed wine. Oh, Arya. Okay, I've got something for you. Hold on. I slid into my desk a little too fast, but hold on. There you go, Arya. There you go. One of my friends got that for me, and we drank this on basically for 4,000 subscribers. So we're getting close to 5,000. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but yeah. So I am with you there on the Game of Thrones wine. I've kept the bottle. I did clean it out. But yeah. I agree, Edwin. Why buy a banner when you can call them? Fair, fair. Blue is a touch above A tier. Good choice. Well, thank you. Ashley, it's not even a tinfoil one. So when I first talked about like Mirri Maz Duur poisoning Drogo, you were kind of the first person that like told me that it was probably just bad medical care because he didn't listen to it, and it's like kind of a thing on Drogo's pride and stuff like that he didn't keep in the medical care and follow along what Mirri told him to do. So yeah. I heard a mention of Game of Thrones rewatch streams. Are you interested on doing that on stream? Zeno, I will say, I don't think I'm going to do Game of Thrones on stream. I think I might do House of the Dragon. I do think I may do House of the Dragon Season 1 right before Season 2 comes out. Do that, rewatch that on stream. But I don't know. All right, we are going to put Bronn in A. I like that. I think that's a solid placement for Bronn. Move him in. Right next to Hodor. Next, we have Dario. Another interesting one. Like, Bronn and Dario, to me, are very similar. They are very similar in terms of where I'd rank them. But, see what you guys say. Maybe you guys are different. Maybe you guys just don't like Dario as much, which I don't blame you. I personally don't really like Dario, but see what you guys think. Dario's a pretty good fighter. I agree, Arya. I agree. I think I'd be around A. I will say, the first actor that did Dario was way better than the second one. I really wish they would have kept the first one. I don't know what exactly happened. I don't remember exactly what happened, why they recast, but the first Dario was better. All I'm saying. All I'm saying. Also, I think Dario will be the last one we do tonight, but yeah, we didn't get very far in here, but you know. Grease Drogo's death reminds me so much of the way Cersei tried to have Robert assassinated by ordering him in front of everyone not to enter the melee, virtually guaranteeing he would. Yes, I agree, Ashley. Dario was cucking Jorah Elmio. Yes. But Jorah is kind of a weird dude in the book, so that's all I'm gonna say. I agree to Dakota on the best mountain. His pride, where her assassin was waiting. Agreed. I do definitely like that idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. Of the actor playing the second Dario, very cute. No. Larissa, no. He isn't a handsome man, but the first Dario was so much cooler. So much cooler. I like the theory that Bloodraven set the board to kill Robert. I do as well, Arya. I think that's a really awesome theory. Yeah, I like the second actor because we see him the most. Yeah, but if we would have had the first Dario actor, he would have been way cooler. Oh my god. Ashley, I can't believe I just read that. Oh my. Dario 2 has no buns. Oh boy. Have you seen the simp tier list? I think it's by Our Hilts Hurt or another channel like them. Oh, we should do a simp tier list. That'd be cool. Yeah, they recast the mountain 3 times, I believe. Or 2. They had the one actor, and then they had 3 different mountains. I agree, Ashley. I agree, Dakota. Show made Jorah more like, oh yeah, 100% way more likable. You know, I know the scene, Ashley. I know. It's the take off your clothes. Do what you do best. Take off your clothes. That scene. I know what scene it is. Trust me. I know. It's ingrained in my mind, unfortunately. But now we know. Ashley likes the men with the bigger buns. At least we know. Ashley, I'll have to tell Matthew. I'll have to tell Matthew. I gotta set my mods up. First Dario had swagger. Give him some blue hair and boom. Exactly. Well, the thing is, the first Dario just had more mystique to it. He seemed like there was something more going on. And the second Dario was just like, this guy's just some dude. He's just some dude. I was never sure if Robb Stark was a good fighter or not. I always thought he survived because he was surrounded by veterans and Grey. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I think Robb was more just average. I think he was kind of just, you know, he's solid, but I don't think he was anything special. I think he was, again, his prowess was as a military commander. How did you break your finger, Dakota? Gotta have a juicy booty. Oh. No, okay, no comment. No comment. Yeah, you're definitely right, AZ. John was a better sword fighter. Second Dario was a Dany simp, agreed. How often did we see Dario fight? I know he killed the second son's captains, but does he fight a harpy or in the pit with him? He doesn't really do much fighting at all. Like, we don't see it because he's off screen a lot. Like in Dance of Dragons, for instance, right? He's off screen. He comes back in. Dany sends him out. He comes back again. Like, we don't really. And then he is a captive, more or less, or a hostage. So, agreed, Dakota. That's true, Ashley. He did survive. He was in the van. Second Dario was giving it to Dany, though. That, you know, fair. That is fair. Good point. All right, Dario in A. I like that. I think, you know, I like that consistency. I like to consistently put Dario next to Bronn. I like that. And we're going to start off the next time we do this tier. I don't know if we're going to get back to doing the POV tier list. We're going to do this, but you have Davos up. So That'll be an interesting one. But thank you guys all for coming to the stream and hanging out with me. We will be back Wednesday, and we'll probably be doing a Q&A. So if you guys are wanting to participate in it, I will be sending out some posts for a Winds of Winter Q&A and all that. I hope you guys all enjoyed.